Hello there, everyone. Pastor Bryson with you once more. I have a new update on the flood situation at Trinity United Methodist Church and what's going on in our building. We actually hit a milestone today. The flood happened about 2 weeks exactly ago now, and today was the first day that the interior of our building was completely and totally dry. Notice I said the interior of the building. There's still some water on the exterior brick. Yeah, that's how much liquid we had in this flood, friends. It soaked through our inner walls all the way to the red brick exterior. Yeah, so we still have water spots on the red brick outside in places, but we can't do much to get rid of that. We have to wait for Mother Nature to bake that out for us. So essentially, the immediate crisis cleanup phase of this flood is over. Our friends at HRS, our mitigation company, today's their last day with us. And so we thank them so much for all the work they've done. If you ever find yourself in a similar situation, or a friend or a family or a building you are around is flooded, please reach out to HRS. I would heartily recommend them. They're extremely courteous and professional, and they've just been Johnny on the spot whenever we've needed them in this whole last 2 weeks. So again, thanks to HRS. So with this immediate crisis phase ending, we're entering kind of the long-term reconstruction and recovery phase of all this. I'll show you some images of what that's looking like at the moment. So before they left, HRS has taken out the majority of the carpet in our building. They couldn't save most of it. It was too waterlogged. So the carpet in the sanctuary, the hallways on the second, third floor, basically all the carpet downstairs in the fellowship hall, it's all gone. It couldn't be saved. We will be getting new carpet here soon. We're going to start taking bids on that in a while. So we'll keep you updated on where we go with that. The other thing to note that's happening right now, you saw in those scenes, there was a number of the original tile floors exposed. That's been the source of our asbestos fears. Those tiles we knew had asbestos in them somewhere. We got good news on that front. We discovered that the tiles themselves are asphalt. Believe it or not, we learned this by finding an original package of these asphalt tiles. It was upstairs in the church attic. We still had an original package of these things from 1951 when the church was built, which goes to show you that we Christians don't throw away anything. Yeah, so we know the tiles are okay. Instead, it's the glue that glues the tiles in. That's where the asbestos was found. So there was so much asbestos around, we discovered we can't just do a simple clear coat or a sealing coat on the tiles and be okay. But we don't think we're going to have to abate the asbestos. Instead, what the company is telling us we can do is put a thin layer of plaster, a specialty plaster. I don't remember the name right offhand, but if you ask Renee Trenley, she could tell you. We're going to put a thin layer of plaster over these tiles and then new polyurethane tiles over that. So we'll be getting a lot of those new tiles in the area. So in the entranceway, this sanctuary, and some other places, we'll have brand new tiles and hopefully not have to deal with the asbestos. So beyond that, that's the most immediate things I know that are going on. We are going to be reaching out to local contractors for bids here in the next couple of days and start setting up work jobs and getting a time frame on how long those are lasting. Those will last. We're still hopeful that we will get this all done by mid to late September, hopefully earlier. But yeah, friends, that's where we're at. We're just starting the long-term rebuilding of our church. So I'm not sure when our next set of updates will be, but in between then and now, I want to share with you kind of how my mindset has changed about everything that's going on. When the flood first happened, many of you know I was not in a good place. I was in a dark and gloomy mood about it all. But within the last few days, I've had some sparks of hope that are going on. My perspective's changing a little bit. I've been going into the church and hearing how well our insurance is covering what's going on, and seeing some of the spaces that we are now have nothing in, I'm starting to wonder, can we dream and work with God to make our church better? I'm thinking we can. Folks, there are some great ideas about how we can improve our church going on out there. One of the big ones we have right now, since we lost so many of our lights in the flood, we're thinking, why don't we look to replace all the lights in our facility? We'll put in some good LED lights that are brighter, that we don't have to change that often, and will save us a lot of money on our utilities. Yeah, I think that would be a great idea. We're talking about maybe in our sanctuary, we're going to put in some new fixtures in there. As you know, the ones we have in there now are way up in the ceiling, and whenever they burn out, we need to change them immediately because they're our main source of light. And to do that, we have to put Mark Thompson or Carl Heil on a very tall ladder and be scared to death as they rock back and forth trying to get those light bulbs out. We may not have to do that anymore. If we decide to do new lights in the sanctuary, we're talking about getting fixtures that dangle down, that are easier for us to replace the bulbs in, and would be brighter and help us read and worship even better than we do now. See, that's some of the stuff we're discussing. We're discussing lighting upgrades. We're looking at empty rooms and thinking, can we change the purpose of this room to better serve our community where it's at? And we have the back of the sanctuary, the chapel, the cry room, so much space that we can start to reutilize in new and innovative ways. So my challenge for you in this time between updates is to start dreaming with me. Let's dream with the Spirit. Let's think how we can reorient our facility to be even better than it is. What are some of the ways our rooms could do that? Our physical property could serve to do that. Could it be lighting? Could it be new purposes for old rooms? Could it be redecorating? Could it be modernizing? We may have that opportunity. So far, friends, again, as I said, insurance is covering a lot of what we're up against. We know we're on the hook for about $400 to $1,400 worth of bills so far. Whereas insurance, we know, is covering between $10,000 and $12,000 worth of bills. And it sounds like they may cover a fair amount more. At the same time, we've raised $8,000 in our flood fund. And thank you to those who are giving to that. So we may have a fair amount of flexibility to continue to restore our church. I hope it stays that way. So friends, let's just, in short, let's just see this as an opportunity. That's how I've started to see this. God's light is in this dark situation, and as we go towards it, we can start seeing amazing things. Amazing possibilities might come out. So let's figure out what those are. Pray with me about that. Let's think about it. Ask God what we can do with our building space. And so that when we come back to ministering full time to our community in the fall, we're going to come back and have a building that's even better and will even better spread the presence of Christ around us. That sound good? All right. Well, friends, thank you so much. And look for another update maybe in a couple weeks once we start getting contractors nailed down and job times known. But between then and now, thank you so much for all you're doing to support Trinity United Methodist Church. Many, many blessings and grace to you. And I hope you have a good weekend.